All of us have distinctive dreams in life. Even in a family, there are some common goals, like family vacation or house purchase. But there are some individual goals, like father aspiring to upgrade the car, mom dreaming of an early retirement, or the children dreaming to study in a world-class university or to expand the family business. Some goals need big funding, while some are easily manageable. Some are 2 decades away. Some need to be fulfilled in a couple of years, while some reoccur every year. If each goal has such a unique requirement, then shouldn't investment for each goal be separate and unique? When you start multiple systematic investment plans or SIPs for individual goals, it becomes easy to keep a track of each investment. You build a well-diversified portfolio of various assets. You can achieve goals in a systematic manner without compromising on other dreams. It's wonderful, isn't it? So start multiple SIPs and aim to fulfill your various financial goals easily. Win with SIP, an investor education and awareness initiative by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Good morning, I'm Srimati Sridharan from the Hindu Group. Welcome to the semi-finals of the Mumbai leg of BLOC Boardroom Challenge 2021. May I now request Mr. Vinay Kamath, Senior Associate Editor at the Hindu Business Line and Editor of BL on Campus, to take over as the moderator for this semi-final session. Over to you, Vinay.
Welcome all to the 5th edition of the Business Line on Campus Boardroom Challenge. The Hindu Business Line's web portal, bloncampus.com, is designed exclusively for B-Schoolers and MBA aspirants, engineering school students, and students aspiring to be accountants. With a rich corporate academia student interface, the portal features news stories and analysis from Business Line's extensive network of writers, as well as exclusive articles by senior corporate executives, HR professionals, academics, and practicing chartered accountants. The content is tailored to meet the information needs and reading style of the young, intelligent, and urbane student, and bridges a critical gap as a news and knowledge resource for students about to begin their careers. At this stage, most students look to mentors, professors, and seniors in their chosen industries for guidance. This is exactly what BL on Campus is, a mentor and a friend. The semi-finals of the first 3 editions of the Boardroom Challenge were on-ground events held across 9 cities, with the event hosted by B schools around the country. Students get through an online psychometric test in the first round. Last year and this year, due to the pandemic, the Boardroom Challenge has been held online. The first year of the contest was won by Liba, Chennai, the second by ISB, the third by IIM Ranchi. Last year's challenge was won by SIBM Pune. The Boardroom Challenge has been sponsored by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and powered by Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages in association with Punjab National Bank. So do go ahead and watch the skillful presentation by B Schoolers in the semi-finals held across 9 cities of the BLOC Boardroom Challenge. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Vinay. Now let us introduce the case study that the teams will present. About the case, how can Innovative Home Care Private Limited break into the toilet soap category? IHCPL has roped in brilliant minds from the best B schools in India as CXOs to come up with a new product, devise marketing strategies to enter this segment, and shore up company profits while keeping a tight rein on finances. The company aims for a 10% profit before loss by 3rd year and 20% by the 5th year. CXOs need to decide on these questions. What should be the product mix? What innovations can be made to cut down on marketing costs? How should the product be positioned? Which geography should the company be in during the first 5 years? What manufacturing method should it adopt, and what should be the capacity to start with? How should it ramp up capacities in the first 5 years? What should be the sales infrastructure and the marketing spends? Based on all these parameters, make a 5-year business plan that delivers the desired financial goals. The teams will be judged on the following parameters. The teams will be marked for 50 points by each jury member. The team with the highest total wins. The breakup is 10 points for understanding the case points, 15 points for case analysis, 10 points for solution, 10 points for presentation, and 5 points for teamwork. We will now introduce the jury members. Akshaya, can you please do the honors?
KS Rao is the Senior Vice President and Head of Investor Education and Distribution Development at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. Led by his passion for financial literacy, Mr. Rao conceptualized and introduced many of the now successful programs such as Nivesh Mahakumbh, a mass investor education initiative, Fauji Nivesh, a customized workshop for defense personnel, Nivesh Pathshala, among others. He was also instrumental in introducing digital initiatives such as Investors Hangout, Friday Finance, Mutually Yours, Smart Selfie, and Mutual Fund Assist, as well as in developing unique modules such as My First Paycheck, My First Finance Lessons, among others. Under his leadership, Samriddhi, the AMC's in-house magazine for trained passengers was launched and has since reached out to more than 50 lakh readers. Mr. Rao also works closely with many of the educational institutions, universities, and media partners, and has in the last 5 years conducted over 7,000 plus investors outreach programs and 3,000 plus training sessions for channel partners along with his team. He is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta and holds a master's in business administration and finance. He is also a certified chartered wealth manager, certified by American Academy of Financial Management, and holds postgraduate diplomas in portfolio management and international business. He is also a certified coach from NLI. Mr. Kuila is the founder director at Brand Vectors and comes with more than 2 decades of experience in the areas of advertising and communication and FMCG marketing. He's an engineer and a PGDM from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Before starting Brand Vectors, he has worked with BBDO, Lintas and Mudra Communications in client servicing and account planning, and has handled a host of clients like Pons, Fun School, Shaw Wallace, Henkel, Ashok Leyland, besides a host of retail clients. After his stint in advertising, he has had a long association with Reynolds for over 12 years, where he played a pivotal role in shaping the brand to become a household name in the writing instruments and stationery category. As his last assignment before starting Brand Vectors, he was the CEO of Oriental Cuisine Private Limited. He brings to table immense experience in all areas of marketing with a sense of business objectives owing to his stints as CEO and president in various organizations. Deepak Jain. Deepak Jain is founder director of American Academy of Financial Management India, a global leader in financial education and certification based out of Colorado Springs, USA. He's a highly accomplished and renowned financial trainer and has an extensive experience of 25 years. He carries a wide-ranging experience of working with Citibank NA, Standard Chartered Bank, and ING Vysya, majorly in wealth management domain and 11 years into corporate training. Deepak is passionate about improving the financial well-being of individuals, having trained over 45,000 individuals over the years. Under his leadership, AAFM India has become one of the leading financial training organizations in India. He has trained more than 30,000 wealth managers and financial advisors across India. He's also the founder and managing director of NextGen Estate Planning Solutions, which is India's biggest estate planning solutions provider for financial advisors and wealth managers.
Thank you, Akshaya. We will now begin with the team presentations for the Mumbai leg. Each team will be given 15 minutes to present their case, followed by jury questions. I now request Team 1 to make their case study presentation.
Good afternoon. I'm Manvi, and here's my teammate Shivani. Hello. And we are going to present our case as given in the boardroom challenge about Innovative Home Care Private Limited. So the quick facts of the case are that IHCPL is a 500 crore group, which is traditionally into the business of edible oils and spice exports. They are currently trying to enter the Indian soap market, which is 4.5 lakh tons by volume and 16,000 crores by value. The category penetration is about 90%, it's quite high, and the market is quite saturated. And the CAGR is of about 5%. The objective of the case was to come up with a strategy so that there is a 10% profit before tax by the end of third year and 20% profit before tax by the end of fifth year. But by analyzing all the possible scenarios and with the data given in the case, we were not able to achieve it in any of the case. So the first and foremost suggestion for IHCPL is to not enter the Indian soap market, which is already very saturated, and it requires intensive expense in advertising to gain a very little market share. And there's a huge cost on distribution side as well. So that's our first and foremost suggestion. But however, if we are not looking only up to 5 years and looking for a long-term investment in this sector, we identified a few like the product mix to go for a longer run, which can show us good amount of growth. So coming on to the product, we have chosen it to be a glycerin soap, as it was mentioned in the case that there are 4 major segments: beauty soap, glycerin, herbal, and sandal. We took a rough estimation that beauty soaps constitute around 50%, glycerin soap around 3 to 4%, herbal soap 6%, and sandal 2%. And glycerin soap had hardly few like peers and 4 to 5 companies in the list. So we find that glycerin soap is the right segment to enter, where there will be a less competition. Coming on to positioning, we want to enter with a premium category because there we will get higher profit as the premium category has that. Also, there will be less competition. Plus, for the same amount, like in popular and economy, we have to produce more number of soaps to gain the same amount of profit, while in premium, we can achieve it with lower number of soaps. And there was one more thing that I wanted to highlight is with 20% ad share by category, I mean, with 20% investment of whatever the budget is, the SOV relation was comparatively higher in case of premium as compared to popular and economy. That is, if I'm investing 10% of SOV, by the end of year 5, I will get that 10%, like 100% of what I'm targeting with the marketing budget. But that is not the case of popular and economy. We will spend a huge amount of money and we'll get very little market share, plus the profit is less. Coming back to price, since the average price in this unit is 50, we'll set it around 49 so that we will get an entry into the market. Otherwise, since we're new to the market, it will be difficult to gain a market share. Coming on to place, if you go by numbers, the most feasible one was East. With lower amount of marketing budget, we can get more amount of market share in East and then followed by North. But if we go to the practicality of this, North seems to be more feasible. We have large number of cities and more brand awareness in North as compared to East. And in East, the major cities involve only Kolkata, Guwahati, and few other cities in Assam. Coming to the choice of method of manufacturing, we chose soap noodles because there was a trade-off between the machinery and the cost per unit for generating the soap. So in case of soap noodles, it is around 35 crores, while in case of making from oil, it is 50 crores. So there, soap noodles was a win-win situation. Although the price per unit cost is little higher, but if we go percentage-wise, the trade-off was more suitable to go for soap noodles. Also, there was one more fact mentioned in the case that soap noodles is more feasible when we are going for large-scale production as compared to making from oil, which is only for like customized soap or a small-scale production. Coming on to marketing spends, since our budget was 200 crores, 100 crores were actually invested back into the machinery since there was 18 crore per year of fixed cost running, and within 5 years, the whole 100 crores will be gone. Apart from that, we have machinery, then marketing spend. So the marketing budget was very limited. And as I already mentioned, by the numbers, if we go, East seem to be more feasible because with lower marketing budget, we can get higher amount of market share. Over to you, Shivani, to take us forward.
Thank you, Manvi, for the quantitative analysis. Moving on to the sales infra, we went ahead with the assumption that since we are wanting to launching into the premium segment, the tier 1 cities would be the apt markets for launch. And by the data given in the case, we assume that the cities by the A segment would be the tier 1 cities. And since the target audience here, reason for choosing tier 1, one of the main reasons was that the willingness to pay here would be higher, and our consumers are the female 18 to 35 age group. Their age, their brand awareness as well as the willingness to pay here would be higher. Innovative approaches. We realized while doing our research, we realized that to stay in the market for longer periods, it's very necessary to innovate. As every FMCG company comes up with a new product every 8 to 10 months. However, we are going with a little different innovative approach with respect to the marketing and the way we reach out to the audiences. So keeping in mind our target audience and the areas that we want to present in, we realized that the online penetration here is 51%. So it would be a very good idea if we could engage very well with the audiences online. Second is innovating the product involving the mixture of glycerine and the herbal segment. After beauty and glycerine, herbal is the most upcoming segment, and the upshare of Patanjali is just an example to it. And with the increasing awareness of chemical-free soaps and consumers preferring paraben and sulfate-free products. Thirdly, with the online presence and with our target audience, spending so much time online instead of going by the traditional marketing approaches that other FMCG companies are currently adopting. We would like to collaborate with beauty influencers to expand our brand reach so that our return on investment is much higher. There was a part in the case which says, how can you optimize marketing costs? After a lot of thinking, we came up with this three main points. First is the use of digital marketing and leveraging it for using target advertising, as ads are targeted for female 18 to 35 target audiences, and engaging with those platforms. Second is the use of data and analytics to see how the consumers are reacting to our product launch, or what are their behaviors, what are the decisions that influence their behaviors. So if is there anything in the product that needs to be changed, so that we can invest in future R&Ds and make some informative decisions as to do we need to place a product differently in the shelf, or what is going wrong, or what is going really right for us. Third is decision fatigue. This is more like a psychological factor, but we realized that if we reduce the decision fatigue for an FMCG brand, it increases the return on advertisement by a large percentage. And this is done through clearly portraying the competitive advantage and the value proposition. Because in FMCG brands, we have seen that the switching cost is almost negligible. So customers switch from one to other for experimentation or for any other reason. So instead of going for any other brands, if they are just see this as the first choice and they are they are sticking to that decision, it can definitely have a large impact on our sales also. And decision fatigue is just, there won't be a lot of investment in it. It just be in the way you engage or the way your brand communicates with the consumers. So yeah, that was our analysis of the case.
Thank you.
Thanks, Manvi and Shivani, for the brief presentation. I mean, probably the post-lunch brief sessions can be better for jury not to get into the trap. But for me, there are many questions. But let me restrict on a couple of things. And one, this is a data-rich case. It is a business case, and I didn't find a serious business around in the entire analysis. But I'll stick to one area. On the product mix side, product position, you said glycerin is the way to go and you are looking for it, and premium is a segment you have chosen, and East is the region you have preferred. And East contributes just 18% first part, and on the premium, if you can look at even 10% is the premium which is mentioned in the case, means it's the 1.8%. In that 1.8%, how you can make things happen and how that can happen. And those some data points which are given in the case was very, very interesting, where if you can use it, probably you would not have gone with the East. Anything you want to tell around this?
Yeah. So when we looked at it first, we wanted to go into West and probably go for popular and economy. Maybe we could have got that SOV table wrong, but when we were fitting the numbers in that formula, we were not getting the right kind of market share, and with the very less number when we were multiplying it with the margin that we were getting in popular and economy, we were anyways not reaching it. So with all the permutation and combination, we came to East and North. Like although the number is lower in East, but the marketing spend, if we can see, that is lower, but with that amount of share in marketing, we can reach more, like in that particular customer base, whatever is present in East, we can reach there more. Even if there are more number of customers in West and South, I agree to it. But since the segment is already saturated, I don't think like spending hundreds of crores of rupees and the impact will be very less. So that was our point, that it would be like wasting money.
But if you can go back to one more table there, I mean, very clearly it shows the marketing spend, what you do on the premium, and especially if you can look at South, how you can accomplish in a year. I think that number is very clearly on the very first line. It is very glaringly visible. But I stop here and I'll just leave it to Mr. Deepak. And after that, the author and the cases belong to Vishy sir. And I think, a lot to come from Nishi sir. All the good luck to both.
Thank you.
That was a good presentation. And what I liked about it, at the start, you said it is not possible. And then you started telling about what they should launch, etc. I have two questions. One is, you chose the soap nodal method to manufacture, right? And this is a company who's already into oils, right? So don't you think they would have a competitive advantage using oil-based method than a soap nodal method?
Yeah, that could be an advantage. But it was mentioned that it is feasible only for small scale production. And one more thing that was mentioned was, I think.
So it also says, how can you innovate? So is it not a disruption to be made in the market that we are the only company who manufactures it from end to end? And that's why we play on the price, and maybe our margins are higher. We get a better quality product. We ensure it that, because end to end we are manufacturing, so everything is in our control. Can that be a point of view?
Like 50 crores and 35 crores, then we were switched to that, we anyways are like getting a lower cost machine. So that.
Okay. Second, you mentioned about SOV.
Yeah.
So what do you understand by SOV?
So the amount that company spends over the total number of spend in that particular category.
So it's basically share of voice.
Yeah.
So does share of voice actually translate into market share of a product?
It was mentioned in the case that if you are targeting an SOV of 10%, then that the calculation was as follows, that for premium category, suppose like 40% of 10%, that market share you can gain if you have that kind of budget, that if you can spend 10% of the total spend.
Right. Great. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good. So, as Rao Saab also mentioned, see this important thing in any case study method or anything is for you to quickly understand what is it that the case is trying to test you on. That's important to know. So there was so much of numbers because it really wanted you to get into the numbers, not really qualitative aspects are there. Obviously, qualitative aspect of what should be the brand, what should be the positioning, and all is there. That's important in a marketing decision and in a business decision. But most important part of it is go no go with the management. Now, first you said it's a no go, but obviously you got something wrong, because it is definitely on. You can get 10% by third year and 20%, in fact more than 20% by fifth year. You are getting it. So a few things. I think some of the concepts you have to understand. Like for instance, I think why you are getting it wrong is because you were not left with marketing budget, because you took out the fixed cost out of the investment. Why would fixed cost go out of the investment? Fixed cost goes out of your revenues, which comes out of it. Investment is what you invest in plant, machinery, and all that. After that, fixed cost will go out only whatever you make losses. If you make loss in the first year, you have to cover it up from the investment. If you make loss in the second year, you'll cover up from the investment. Otherwise, it has to come from the sales minus raw material cost. Whatever is remaining, that will get you the fixed cost, right? And you have a decent margin in there. At a 50 rupees MRP, you have a decent contribution for premium category. So some of the numbers, I think importantly you have to look, as Rao Saab mentioned, that if you look at the SOV part of that was the most important table for a go no go decision. And that clearly showed that if you spend in premium category and in the south, that is the most lucrative thing. That gives you the best return per rupee. And that is why if you choose a premium category and in south, your returns would be better. Plus, you are capable of your total cost of plant and machinery was around 35 crores. Even if you take by plant oil method, you get to 50 crores. Okay, and then you still have got another 50 crores of the company's investment plus another 100 crores of bank rollout. So you have a lot of money to come into marketing spends and all those that you put in. So approximately, if you put 40 to 50 crores into marketing spends, and with this, you actually achieve the numbers. And you stick to South with your distribution to South, you actually achieve your numbers. So a little bit more of going into this was important. Some of these we always get very attracted by this online marketing, but you also need to keep in mind that online is a very slow burner. It doesn't give you quick results.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time before it can build up. So it builds up, but it builds up slowly. So online is good for people who have very little budget, because in online you can start advertising with 1 lakh also in hand.
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to do a TV advertisement, making a first TV film itself will be 1 crore to make a TV film itself. After that, you have to start advertising. So you can't do it with a small budget for. So that's why online is interesting. But when you want a quick result, then you have to get offline, and that was possible with some 40-50 crores budget here. That was possible. If you take a regional.
Tried that thing like, so how, like you were saying that from 100 crores, we are not supposed to deduct that 18 crores per year, that fixed running cost, right? So, and 100 crores from bank, that we have to return as well, like within this 5 years.
Yes.
Where is the time period left to adjust that thing?
So what is the revenue that you envisaged? What is the revenue that you envisaged for your first year?
We were going somewhere wrong. 3 to 4 crores.
Oh, so with a 3 to 4 crores revenue, how will you ever?
Exactly. That's what we are going somewhere.
That's obviously nobody can get into a business with 3 to 4 crores of wanting to invest 100 crores and get 3 to 4 crores of revenue over a period of time. That's not going.
That is why we suggested that it's a no-go.
No, obviously, you got your calculations wrong somewhere, because if you put in 25 crores, even if it is, we are saying what is that? It's in South, the total I think ad spends is about 500 crores. So if you spend about 50 crores there, that is 10%. So you get a 4% market share.
Yeah.
Right.
For first year, yeah.
First year will get 4% market. Now 4% market share is not 3 crores. 4% of South market share is not 3 crores. So you've got that thing somewhere wrong. That's why you missed it. So a little bit more focus.
There was one more thing, like even if we go for South, so we can't go for like A, B, C, D, every class, right?
Don't have to. In fact, it was okay to go for A and maybe some B.
Yeah.
Because premium, you're going premium.
Yeah. So we have to go for
outlets are important, and A and B. That's what you required. You didn't need to go to all of them, because you will get that distribution. If you work the distribution also, you need to make sure that your distribution is good enough for you to get that kind of a number out. Like if you're going to have want 10% share or of the premium, suppose you want to go for not 10%, 4% share of the premium, then you can't have a 0.1% distribution. You need to at least have closer to 2-3% distribution, right? So those many number of outlets need to be covered. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for participating, and good effort, with few areas missed.
To be improved. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you, Manvi and Shivani. Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, Team 1. We will now be playing a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Financial fitness, like physical fitness, is a lifelong process. You need to work towards it, one day at a time. Be a smart spender. When you want to buy a smartphone or a two-wheeler, be a smart spender and get the most out of your hard-earned money by checking for cashbacks, discounts, or even evaluating other brands that have similar specifications for a lower price. Often, the price difference or savings can be significant. So, start warming up your financial muscles by being a smart spender. Beware of credit. Swiping for a 1,000 rupee dinner feels the same as swiping for a 10,000 rupee gadget. However,
Paying off a 10,000 rupees credit card bill at the end of the month isn't as easy as paying off a 1,000 rupee bill. And if you just pay the bare minimum, you trigger a 30% interest charge, which balloons your debt and leaves you financially overwhelmed. So, swipe smartly and pay off your entire bill at the end of each month. Plan smart, start early. Just like warming up is not the same as working out, saving is not the same as investing. When you invest, you make your money work for you. Let's assume you want to buy a phone in 1 year, a car in 5 years, and put a down payment on a home in 10 years. To achieve your short-term, medium-term, and long-term dreams, you need to start working towards them today. If you invest 1,500 rupees every month at an assumed 12% rate of return, in 1 year, your 18,000 investment can potentially grow to approximately 19,100 rupees. If you continue to invest, in 5 years at an assumed 12% rate of return, your 90,000 rupee investment can potentially grow to approximately 1.21 lakh rupees. If you stay invested for 30 years at an assumed 12% rate of return, your 5.4 lakh investment can potentially grow to approximately 46.24 lakh rupees. So, be a disciplined investor and aim to achieve your goals. Keep inflation in mind. Inflation makes your money worth less and less every year. Let's say you bought a cup of coffee last year for 250 rupees. This year, thanks to inflation, the same cup of coffee costs 269 rupees. Next year, it may cost 291 rupees. To continue to enjoy your current lifestyle, you need to plan for inflation and invest in financial instruments that aim to deliver inflation-beating returns. Gen Z, start cultivating smart financial habits today.
An investor education and awareness initiative by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Debt can be a friend or an enemy. It all depends on you. To George, it's a friend that adds value to his life. For Viraj, it's an enemy to be defeated. These two men who live similar lives have different approaches to debt, which affects their financial health. When George uses a credit card to shop or pay bills, he ensures that he pays off the entire bill before it's due. This helps keep him debt-free. When Viraj uses a credit card, he pays the bare minimum when he can. This erratic payment pattern has triggered a monthly interest of 2.5 to 4% and an additional annual interest of 30% to 47%, making his debt grow steadily. So, while George enjoys his life, Viraj sinks from debt. This difference in debt management has impacted all areas of their lives. Both George and Viraj took loans to buy homes, but only one struggled to sustain their lifestyle. Before George took out a loan to buy a home, he evaluated his existing income and expenditure and reallocated his budget. This helped ensure that he could make mortgage payments and sustain his lifestyle. When Viraj took out a home loan, he factored in his income and existing debt, a car loan and credit card bills. He did not factor in living expenses, required investments and emergencies. This pushed his debt above 36%, the highest recommended debt-to-income ratio. This left him struggling to pay for everyday essentials like groceries, utility bills and fuel. He became dependent on credit cards to sustain his lifestyle. It has taxed his bank account and left him unable to fulfill other goals financially without undertaking more debt. Taking on too much debt has made him financially vulnerable and mentally overwhelmed. What to keep in mind when taking on debt? Recommended debt-to-income ratio is 36% or lower. Ideal mortgage debt shouldn't exceed 28%. To avoid falling into the debt trap like Viraj, you need to take on debt smartly. Before you spend, analyze whether the debt adds value to your life or not. Evaluate your financial situation. Consider investing to achieve your goal. Relook at your budget to ensure you are not taking on too much debt. Ensure your debt-to-income ratio doesn't exceed 36%.
pay off your debt on time to avoid paying penalties. If you keep these points in mind, you could be able to avoid the debt trap and live the life you want. Think now, live well later.
An investor education and awareness initiative by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
May I now request Team 2 to make the presentation.
Good evening, jury. Our team leader is Purva, and I am Isha Nisar on behalf of the team, and along with me, I also have Priyanka Saraf. So about the case, so Indian industry of soap market is a very high penetrated market of 90%, and we see that the 50% of market share is being covered by the beauty soaps. And over here, as given in the case as well as from our research, we saw that the herbal soap is growing fastly in the soap market. So there are two major reasons being seen. One is the Swachh Bharat mission, which promotes health and hygiene, as well as the rising COVID tension that has increased the importance of herbal products. However, what we saw was, and as mentioned in the case, that there has been a higher fragrance which is not being liked by many individuals, and hence we try to position the current Indian market scenario on the basis of two things. One is price and one is perfume. So regarding the price, it was mentioned that there are three categories: premium, popular, and economy. And perfume is something on the basis of the information we've got on the internet. While we were trying to plot all of these products, we see that HUL has about 46% of market share and is a leader, followed by Wipro, which has 8.6%. So there's a very wide gap between the two companies. HUL has a wide portfolio and is present in a lot of different brands, right from a low price, low perfume to a higher price and a higher perfume, as well as, even a higher price and a low perfume segment. So over here, when we were trying to map, we identified 4 different spots which could have been used, which are empty and could be used. So for the economy brand, we are positioned in the low price segment with mild fragrance, and that to the herbal element, because which would be much more connected to the consumers as compared to the others. For the popular brand, we've positioned in the mid-price segment with mild fragrance, and you can see that there's a very wide scope of popular brand where not many brands are being present currently. Even when we have 700 soap brands in India, there are only few major brands which have been able to capture the national market. Why beauty for the popular brand is because they have high aspirational value and they would want to move a step ahead. For the premium, we identified 2 particular spaces. So one is with a medium fragrance and one is with a high to medium fragrance, both of them in the beauty element, and a similar premium pricing should be followed. Next. So the marketing strategy that we are trying to apply would be common for all the soaps. So there are 2 particular goals that we've identified. First is to increase the awareness as the product is quite new. And the second is increasing trial rates. We believe our product are really great, and hence the trial rate would further increase the repeat purchase. For increasing awareness, not very much out of the box. We are trying to have a similar story as different brands. However, for the advertising, we are going to have regional wise advertising, which would be there in the next page. We would try to create stories on social media and buzz, especially for the premium products, because we assume our target audience is over there. We saw that around 90%, 90 to 95% of the market share in the distribution channel still happens through the store. And hence shelf marketing is a very important element for us. And looking at the beauty element of popular as well as premium products, we would like to have sponsorship in the local beauty events like pageants, etc. As sponsors. And regarding promotional triggers to increase the trial rates, we would initially create limited edition packs for a few products, which would try to trigger them to purchase. There would be discounts and offers, not something, I mean, much more than the financial viability, but we would have them. We'll have contests and lotteries and smaller SKUs for travels, because we see that there are larger SKUs usually available and people pick it up, and there is inconvenience when going for travel purpose. The next page. Regarding the region-wise communication, what we identified was there are different elements being preferred by different regions of India. North and West particularly are affiliated towards Rose and Lily, and hence we would try to introduce the Rose and Lily variant in North as well as West. However, North region sees a premium product as compared to West, which sees a popular in economy, which would be shown by my fellow friends in the later slides. Whereas in East, it's much more about the functional element, and hence aloe vera is the variant that we chose. And sandalwood, which gives a greater fragrance as compared to the others, was chosen for South with popular and economy. Even when we would have a similar positioning, we would try to have regional specific communication for each region to attract the consumers specifically. Next slide.
So when we started with the product selection, we first tried to find out what are the different costs involved in that. And we came up with a cost to revenue ratio. The lowest cost to revenue ratio was for some other segments. We combined this data with our subjective analysis, and we saw that in the north and west, the price of value share was greater than the volume share. And for the west and south, the volume share was greater than the value share. So based on the combined effect of these two, we decided to launch a premium category in the oil segment and a popular grade 1 and grade 2 for the noodle segment. So another reason why we chose this was it was given in the case that the oil sector is used for handmade soaps and it's better for premium production. And when we talk about the soap, it's the noodle segment is better for mass production, which is why we chose it for the popular and economy segments. And grade 1 over grade 2 because it looked more profitable than the other two parts. Priyanka would take over and explain the cash flow and profit statement.
Thanks, Pura. So what we try to do is we had two sources of cash available. One was a borrowing of 100 crores and another was reserves of 300 crores that the company already had, of which they were willing to spend 100 crores for the new venture. Of course, it was preferable to use as less of the reserves as possible. So we first started with 100 of borrowings. Then we thought of, let's start with how many tons of soap do we want to make? For that, what would be a manufacturing cost? What would be the capital expenditure? Initial cost of stores, new stores that we want to open in the area, advertising and total costs. So, of course, now we see, 5 different figures, everything fitting well, and we have available cash. But there was a lot of permutation combination that we did before we could arrive at these figures. And these numbers are also in tandem with the soap market in India, given that it's really fragmented. So we had to start really small. So the first year we've decided to produce 80 tons. The capital expenditure occurs only in the first year because we are not crossing 500 tons each. Since we are producing premium soap using the oil technology, and we'll be producing popular and economy using the noodle technology. So we'll have separate capital expenditure for that. And neither of that crosses 500 tons per category for the first 4 years. So we gradually started increasing our production from 80 to 150. Our idea was to keep doubling. However, in year 2, we couldn't move to 160 for want of cash. Then we actually doubled to 300 in the year 3, more than doubled in year 4 to 660, and then year 5 finally we go to 1200. So both of these tables are linked in the sense that whatever cash flows we've made, we've put exactly that in the profit or loss statement. Our objective was to have 10% by year 3 and 20% by the end of year 5, and we've actually managed to make a much higher profit in each of our years. ranging between 60 to 70%. One interesting thing to note is that when we first started with stores in the first year, we sort of opened a few stores. We went across all regions, which is why our cost is 10 crores because it was 2.5 crores per region. So we had all regions covered. We had a few stores, and in the second year we realized that we shouldn't open new stores because we're not really doubling our target. Of course, it's almost double, but we did not go there. So we thought, let's just continue with the existing number of stores that we have, and then we started increasing stores and advertising expenditure in that sense. And by year 5, even though we are spending 100 crores in advertising alone, we still have an available cash of 493 crores and a net profit of about 70%, 71%. Yeah, next slide.
10 minutes up.
Yeah. Purva, next slide. Yeah, these are just some other schedules, borrowing schedule, how we got the interest cost, because we kept repaying every year. And that's how, okay, I'll just quickly talk about the reserves in the previous slide. Previous slide, yeah. So the reserves, the third row in the cash flow statement, which is reserves, the first year 92 is from the existing business that we had. Now second year onwards, what we've done is, if you see year 1 profit is 194 crores, but every year we are repaying our borrowing. So we've just reduced 20 from every year's net profit and then utilized everything to put back into the business. So that's how we're getting, which is why on the next slide, when you see the borrowing schedule, it's just simple how we are getting the interest cost because we're paying every year and we are finishing off our borrowing by the end of year 5. Ad spend, which we again saw on the previous slide, it's just what we've done every year and how it's going to affect every region and product. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so that's it from our end, starting with our CMO, Isha, who had explained our marketing strategies, our CEO who ultimately decided what product in what regions. And I assumed the role of a CFO who did most of the financial calculations to see if it was viable cash flow and money wise. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good presentation. Appreciate Purva, Priyanka, and Isha. It's nicely summed it up. But few questions to start with. One on the first one is on the positioning. I mean, you have chosen to go to all the products, right? It is you're not just looking at one product, one category. And what is that you made to do, why you have not thought if it is 1 or 2, instead you have gone for all the 3?
There were 2 aspects that we looked at this. First, when we did the financial analysis, it is like how much we produce and how much we sell. Ultimately, our earnings will be that much. So that was from financial perspective. And the second that we seek was our production capacity. We were buying 500 tons. And even if we chose any one segment, it was difficult. It is difficult to capture entire thing of one segment alone if we take it. Secondly, there are, if we go around, there are different markets catering to who would have different requirements. And if we have the manufacturing capacity and we have the capital that we can borrow, then we thought it is best that we take up different categories of soaps and try to produce in each one, so that if we go from the long-term perspective, then perhaps after 5 years, we'll have a very big market in each of those categories. And if we do only one, just a single product, then one thing is that our earning would be less by default. And it is difficult to capture market in any one particular category to completely dominate it, since we are a new player and there are established companies selling them.
So just building on what Purva said, just giving with examples, right? So for instance, in the South region, we'll see that the value percentage is higher than the volume percentage, which means that the South are willing to pay, higher value. And which is why we thought that we would, manufacture and sell premium in the South. But for the other regions, where people were paying lower for the higher volume, it made more sense to do the popular and economy categories. And within that, we had grade 1 and grade 2. But then we realized that in each case, grade 1 was more popular. Grade 1 was more profitable for us. So we went for grade 1 for both popular and economy. And even within that, we had to decide the manufacturing, right? So we did premium. Premium was through oil, because one, the case mentioned that, it's generally for smaller quantities, and premium, we are only catering to one region, which is the South, and popular is going for 3 other regions. So we thought we should use the nodal technology and produce in bulk for the other 2 categories.
Probably, this is where exactly you would have gone a little wrong. You want to cater to all the regions. You want to use 2 kinds of the methodology of the production. Then you would like to be in premium, popular, and economy across. But well summed up, and thank you so much. Over to Deepak for further.
My question is regarding the use of hybrid technology to manufacture. So do you think that having 2 technologies, maintaining 2 technical teams, 2 ways of production would be costly for the company and more time consuming, etc.?
So from a financial standpoint, we were still cash flow positive in all 5 years. Of course, there was no mention of employee cost. So that assumption has not been taken. But the fixed running costs of capital is assumed to have factored in depreciation, employee costs, etc. So that was one within the cash flows. Second, even when we started expanding, if you would have seen, we have doubled the production tons every single year, but we still did not cross the initial 500 tons capacity, because we had employed both categories, and no single category exceeded 500. So we didn't have to make additional fixed costs. It was a one-time cost for us. So financially, cash flow wise, it was fine. So we thought maybe.
So secondly, we would be just adding to Priyanka. So we would be having different categories of product in different region. So maybe in South, when we are having premium products, so there would be a different type of manufacturing. And as it is, if you're having region-wise manufacturing, so that would also help us in reducing the supply chain costs. So that could also be used, and regional expertise could be used, which could help us out.
Fair enough. Second question is, there's a question there, think of innovation so that the cost of marketing can be reduced. So have you thought of that and given some suggestions on that part?
So we came up with a few, the innovation as in the variant part, that the marketing thing could be reduced. And the other thing that we thought of was sponsoring beauty events or some sort of thing to gain much more attraction, and using a lot of social media right now to create buzz, especially after the COVID, that people have entered much more into social media.
Fair enough. Over to you, Vishnu.
Okay. So before I start, just a clarification. Can you please tell me what are the units in your business plan? They were only numbers. I don't know whether they were lakhs, crores, tons.
All rupees are in crores, and all soap units are in tons. And total figures would be rupees crores per ton.
Rupees crores.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to get 300 crore turnover from 7 crore advertising budget? Because I thought the SOV share, because that's the first figure I would like to see, because everything else is dependent on that. If my revenue figure is wrong, everything else is gone for a toss. So how did you manage to get 300 crores of turnover from a 7 crore advertising budget? Because I thought the SOV was given that if you get 10% SOV, you will get only 4% market share, right? So a 3% or a 7 crore advertising budget on a how much? What is the total all India budget of advertising is 2,500 crores, right? Approximately something.
2,000, yeah.
2,000
crores. So 2,000 crores. 7 out on 2,000 is what percentage? 0.0014%, right? So how can you get 300 crores of turnover with a 0.0014% market share? So somewhere that's gone completely wrong, because of which you're getting such a huge turnover for such a low input. That's why you got so much of excess cash. That's why you got so much of profits. All that has gone completely wrong there.
The profit in the first year also seemed inordinately high.
Sorry?
The profit in the first year also seemed inordinately high.
That's what I'm saying. Because they got without any advertising spends, they've got 300 crores of turnovers. Obviously, your profits are going to show so high. So that I think that's a very fatal mistake there, because you got to look at your numbers, because once you present to the board, you are actually presenting to the board, right? Your CXO is presenting to the board. So if that goes wrong, then the board will not trust your plan. They'll say, oh my God, we can't give them the money. You don't get the money because they don't trust your plan. So that's important. When you look at number, you have to cross-check some 10 times your numbers and see whether you're getting it right. So some of this could straight away have thrown up on your head. How can I get 300 crores straight away with just some 7-8 crores of advertising money? So there should be something wrong with the whole figure, similar. And the second question is, how much do you, I'm not going into the other on your south and north, other things which I think has already been covered, which is, I think you need to focus. Otherwise, with imagine 7 crores of money, and then you have 4 different products to advertise. So per product, your advertising budget is becoming 1 crore, 1.5 crores. What will you get? All India 1.5 crores. You don't get even one spot on television, or even in this, what you call social media. Also, you won't get anything. And anyway, social media is a very slow medium. So that was it. So what is the second question? Is what is the distribution numbers? Like how many number of outlets did you think you were going to reach? Because even there, the cost is very low. For this 300 crore turnover to get, you got some, I think 10 crores of your distribution budget, whereas it ideally comes to some much more than that for this. So maybe that's why some numbers have gone wrong. So just you need to check those numbers again once there, and then give it a thought. Otherwise, okay. Thought through well, you looked at premium for oil for premium. This only reason why that can be questioned is because there are 2 different infrastructures. Instead of 35 crores or one infrastructure, and the other one was 50 crores. Now you have to put 35 plus 50, 85 crores you have to put into infrastructure, because we are having both the manufacturing setups instead of one manufacturing setup. So initial years ideally would be not to go for both. Start off with premium, be in south, because south gives the maximum returns for premium. With just south and premium, you could have achieved your objectives. After 2 or 3 years, when you have to enter popular segment, then you can go neutral based. By then you would have started earning profits, and you would have returned some capital for you to take some more capital towards investment.
Right. So I think there might be some misinterpretation with the SOV. So we had actually done it on the basis of tons and not crores, which is why we thought we were very well into the table that was given. So because it was just 80 tons in the first year. And
so 80 tons, how does it translate to 320 crores? Was 80,000 is the cost? 80 tons is 80,000 kilos. Okay, 1 kilo is 20 soaps, 10 soaps, 100 gram soaps. That is 500 rupees. If you take the average of 50,
right.
500 into 80,000 is how much? Right? It's not 325 crores, right? So the numbers have obviously gone wrong. One quick look, the moment I saw your business plan, in 1 second, I knew there's something wrong, because 80 and 325 crores is not going to translate. With a 50 rupees per soap pricing, it just doesn't work out there. So the numbers have gone wrong somewhere.
Right. So also just one clarification.
Yeah.
So in the first table where we had the manufacturing cost, the total manufacturing cost was given as per 10,000. So we weren't sure if it was per 10,000 units or per 10,000 grams. But we sort of did both calculations, and then per 10,000 grams made more sense numbers wise than units.
No, it was per 10,000 soaps.
Oh, it was soaps.
Per 10,000 soaps.
Okay.
I thought it was written per 10,000 units, not grams.
It just said per 10,000, so we weren't sure if it was units or grams.
Is it? I will check it again. Maybe that would have caused some confusion there. I will check it whether it was per 10,000 or per 10,000 units. Okay, so that was meant to be a number of soaps. Thank you, team. Good attempt. Other than these errors, a little thing which has happened, but good way of analyzing that you looked at. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, team, for participating. All the best.
All the best.
Thank you, Team 2. We will now have another special educational AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Benefits of SIP, STP, SWP. Win with SIP. This is Sid. He recently started working and wishes to invest his money in the stock markets. But his salary isn't much and he has only a small sum of money left to invest every month. While he was contemplating on what he could do, his elder sister Reena came to his rescue. An avid investor herself, Reena introduced him to the magic trio of SIP, STP, SWP.
Don't worry, you don't really need a large amount to start investing. You can invest as little as 500 rupees weekly, monthly or quarterly using SIP, that is Systematic Investment Plan in mutual funds. And before you wonder how it could help, let me tell you, a SIP has many advantages. 1. It lets you start small. And when you invest every month, you average your purchasing cost. So, you needn't worry about timing the market. For example, let's assume you invest 500 rupees every month. Given the market volatility, the cost of purchasing a unit of a mutual fund will change every month. Say, in the first month, you may get 40 units for 500 rupees. In the second month, you may also get 25 units for the same amount and perhaps more in the next month, say 45 units. This difference in price averages out over time, giving you the best possible price per unit over time. 2. You not only make your money work, you also make time work in your favor by starting to invest sooner than later. 3. You also benefit from the power of compounding by reinvesting the profits earned from your investments in mutual funds. Let me explain. Suppose you invest 500 rupees per month for a year. In 12 months, you will have invested 6,000 rupees. Let's assume your money grows at 8% during the year. So, your investments will be worth 6,480 rupees at the end of year 1. Now, if you leave the entire amount invested in the fund and continue with your SIP, by the end of the second year, your investment would be 12,480 rupees. That is 6,480 rupees plus 6,000 rupees. But given the 8% returns, you would have earned a profit of 998.4 rupees. And this amount will continue to compound as long as you stay invested.
This is quite enlightening. But sis, I have a doubt. When I get a bonus at the end of the year, how do I invest it? I don't want to take the risk of timing the market.
I'm glad you are catching on, Sid. You just need to be smart with your investments. You can park your bonus in a low-risk debt or liquid fund initially, and then set up a STP, that is a systematic transfer plan, which will transfer fixed amounts from this scheme to other debt and equity schemes regularly and give you all the advantages of a SIP. So you don't have to worry about timing the market. And while the SIPs happen, your money isn't lying idle in your bank. It is earning interest in debt or liquid fund. And just like a SIP, STP allows you to set the duration of your investment period. For example, if you get a 50,000 bonus, you can choose to invest 5,000 in a single scheme or 1,000 in 5 different schemes over the next 10 months. You can make this choice based on what goal you wish to achieve.
You have a solution for everything. I have one more question though. I can keep my investments going every month, but how can I withdraw, say after 10 years, without the hassle of timing the markets?
Well, Sid, this one is easy too. Let's assume you are investing for your retirement funds. Once you retire, you can turn your SIP into a SWP, that is, a systematic withdrawal plan, and get a fixed income at regular intervals. So if you need 25,000 rupees per month to meet your expenses, you can set up the SWP to deposit 25,000 rupees into your bank account every month or 75,000 rupees every quarter. SWP gives you the flexibility to choose. A SWP not only aims to give you protection against market volatility, it keeps your money working for you. So, you see, when you SIP, STP or SWP, you aim to win on multiple levels, today as well as tomorrow.
An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
May I now request the final team of the day, team number 3, to make the case presentation.
Good evening to all the esteemed panelists. First of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity to present our case solution. This is Lahari and we are from team 4. Joining with me are Sankalp and Sambhav. So before we start, I would like to give some brief introduction to the Indian soap industry. To start with a fascinating fact, soap manufacturing industry is one of the oldest in the FMCG sector and which also accounts for more than half of the consumer goods sector. Coming specifically to the bath soaps, which we will be working on in the subsequent slides, it is expected to grow at a 7% CAGR from 195 billion rupees in 2020 to 273 billion in 2026. And another interesting fact that we are making use of in our case is that in the Indian soap market, herbal or Ayurvedic soap became the fastest growing segment. Also, soap industry is among those few industries which is equally performing well, if not more, in rural areas as well. Now, getting on to what actually is driving the soap manufacturing industry, there are two major factors. First one being the continuous introduction of newer products with upgraded features. So it is so with product innovations driving the growth, there is increase in availability of different variants or products to the consumers. And it is also observed that fragrance is one of the important ingredient which the consumers are looking for in any variant. And other features also include cooling agents and herbal ingredients which are currently in trend. Coming to the second factor, which basically is the rise in awareness among consumers about personal hygiene. With the increase in internet penetration, consumers have this opportunity to know more about the available products that are in market and also the products that are giving them with lucrative offers. And government also has been the major contributor for increasing the awareness about personal hygiene by introducing initiatives like Swachh Bharat Mission and etc. Okay, now before moving to the solution, it's also important for us to know the current trends and challenges, which helps us in figuring out the type of soap that we want to introduce. So in the current trends, more than 1/3 of the adults are looking for antibacterial soaps. Also, with increase in stress due to pandemic, consumers are preferring soaps which give them the therapeutic feel to relax. There is also an uptick in the boutique. There is also an uptick in the sales of boutique soaps, which are not majorly ventured into in our India. Now, in the challenges, inadvertently, any soap that is manufactured is containing some amount of chemicals in it. And it is also known that chemicals might be toxic. And because of this, there might be a chance that consumers are discouraged in order to buy a soap which has chemicals in it. So we should be cognizant when we are introducing or manufacturing our soap to make sure that we are using as less chemicals as possible. Now, if we also see the body wash is gaining traction these days, and because of the feature that it is untouchable, it has become the major competitor for the bar soaps. Also, as it is already mentioned in the case, soap industry already has a 90% penetration. So it has less scope when we look into the growth aspect in volumes, but we can still have growth in terms of value. Now, this is the overall market share view of all the companies that we have. As you can see, HUL is taking the major chunk with 36% market share. As you must have already noticed, our product name is Ayucare, which is basically an Ayurvedic soap. So Ayurveda has been a part of India since a very long time, over 5,000 years. And it is also expected to grow in the future. So the government, be it the government, Indian government or the WHO, they are taking measures to promote Ayurveda across the globe. Having said all of this, let's look into the business aspects of the case.
Yeah, thank you, Larry, for such an insightful overview of the industry. Now let's get on to the deliverables of this particular case. Focusing on marketing first. Go ahead. So I would like to just on the start itself, I'll have to answer the question of which kind of soap manufacturing should we go ahead. We went from melting soap noodles. The difference between these two manufacturing techniques have been listed over here. The primary reason for choosing soap noodles is because it is suitable for mass manufacturing and it has lower capex compared to the direct saponification process. We want to increase volumes and we want to gain market share. So this is our best shot in terms of manufacturing process. So let's get to the target segment. So who is our target audience? So our target audience consists of people who are within the range of 15 to 50 and have an active lifestyle, looking to shift towards Ayurvedic or herbal soap without losing on the fragrance and refreshment that they expect from a normal modern soap. So these three elements form the target equation. The age group is 15 to 50. They are looking to go towards Ayurvedic or herbal soaps, and they give a due importance to fragrance. Our product mix, which I'll be discussing further, it addresses all the different variants of this particular age group. Now, this is our positioning statement. I'll just read it out. Ayucare is our company name. This is our logo, and the tagline is "Fragrance for your skin." Now, the position statement says, "Do not compromise fragrance for skincare. Ayucare harnesses the power of Ayurveda and natural fragrances to rejuvenate your skin." At IHCPL, we are merely taking this ancient tradition forward, giving it an avatar that suits the go-getter lifestyle. Now, we wanted to specifically highlight the company because we are entering newly into this market, and it is important for our customers to know from which brand does Ayucare come from at the start itself. So I'll be discussing a product mix in brief. So we'll be launching Ayucare in 4 different variants. So the first one being carbon, tulsi, aloe vera, and sandalwood. So coming to the carbon soap, it is basically targeted to people who want a mixture of soap and scrub within a single product. It's mostly used for detanning and detoxifying your skin, primarily focused on active adults from 20 to 30 range who want to have a refreshing bathing experience without the effort of actually scrubbing. And the Tulsi soap is basically targeted towards adolescents who face a lot of acne issues and the flaky skin which comes up during the adolescence, and it basically affects them a lot. And Tulsi soap, with its active ingredients enriched with real Tulsi extracts, will help in basically controlling acne and removing it. Go ahead. So aloe vera soap, as we all know, aloe vera is a magical plant with all kinds of different benefits, and the primary one being soothing, relieving feel. So this is particularly helpful for all skin types and soothes the skin and it makes it feel supple. This is a soap that is being targeted to each and every person. So whoever wants an aloe vera soap, it's there. So that's the reason we didn't want to mess it up. The sandalwood, as we all know, has a great fragrance. Apart from that, it has a quality of anti-aging. This is done through restoring natural skin complexion and lightening of fine lines. And as we all know, Chandan has a property of cooling stuff. So sandalwood does that. Sandalwood soap does that. So this is the perceptual map that we've got from the consumer's perspective. So as you can see, Ayucare stands a bit on the high quality and a comparatively low medium price range. The major competitors offer is basically Medimix, Patanjali, and other herbal soaps. But Patanjali was specifically mentioning because it has gained a lot of traction in this particular area that we are venturing into. But the problem with Patanjali that we identified is that the packaging is not attractive. And the younger generation, especially apart from the older ones, the younger generation are not particularly inclined towards buying Patanjali soap because it doesn't have the required fragrance or the variants and the packaging itself. So that is the whole product itself is not appealing to the younger generation. So that's the reason we wanted to address all these issues with a certain premium over the Patanjali's price and come up with Ayucare. So this is the customer journey that that the customer will pass through. So the points that you see are different touch points. It is divided into online and offline. The three segments that we're focusing is awareness, consideration, and purchase. So the different touch points that you see are, which I'll be discussing, the awareness aspect of it, we'll be discussing in the further slides. For consideration and purchase, the purchase will be through different channels like e-commerce, modern retailers, and grade B retailers. These are the three major channels that we're targeting, at least for the initial 5 years. For the consideration aspect of it, what we want to do is we want to give our soaps to beauty bloggers and reviewers so that they can review it and give a detailed explanation and basically a review to the customer so that they get influenced by it. We can take use of affiliate marketing for this so that it gives an incentive for the blogger, the reviewers then as well. And coming to the purchase aspect of it, what we thought of is going for the e-commerce, for example, Grofers or Big Basket. The people who are buying more than $4.99 worth of items in their cart will be giving one soap for free. So this basically attracts both. This is lucrative for both Grofers and us because we will be having a free channel to supply our soaps and for the customers to try. And the Grofers will have an incentive of basically selling more products so that they reach that threshold to get a free soap. Now let's focus on the awareness part because this is the most important aspect in my opinion, considering the company is venturing into the segment for the first time. We envisioned a commercial ad, a TV ad, which basically goes like this. So a mother and the son duo visit a village. I visit their own village, and the son faces a certain skin rashes or skin issues, and the grandmother basically gives some Ayurvedic leaves to the kid, and the kid asks the kid to go and bathe with it. But the kid runs off saying, "I won't use this." The mother holds his hand and gives the eye care soap and asks him to try it. The kid tries it and he feels really refreshed and he enjoys it and says that it's just like normal soap. So then the conversation ends, and at the end of it, the grandmother says, "I wish we had Ayurveda in our times." So this is a kind of a ad that we want to go starting with, and focusing on incentivizing. One more major aspect is the government has set up a completely new Ministry of Ayush, to develop and to promote Ayurveda, homeopathy, and other indigenous healing techniques. So we want to leverage it. And basically use the doctors, Ayurvedic doctors that are registered with Ministry of Ayush and practicing Ayurveda in different parts of the country. And we want to leverage their clientele to sell our soaps. So they will be basically endorsing our soaps and giving different variants, suggesting different variants to different kinds of patients based on their skin or skin related issues. And for the adolescents part of it, we want to create hygiene workshops. We'll be conducting hygiene workshops in school in the classes 9 to 12. And indirectly kind of promoting our own product at the end of it.
11 minutes.
Coming to the advertorials part of it, so we want to tie up with TVF and Girly Appa, the different YouTube channels that are coming up recently, and they'll be basically creating an advertorial including Ayurveda in their own lifestyle, the millennial lifestyle, and in a humorous way. So this is how we want to promote it. There are other aspects which can be discussed, and go ahead. So these are the product-specific innovations that I want to highlight a bit. So our product will be the only blockchain verified soap that proves its authenticity and the sustainable sourcing of the raw materials. So this aspect and this technology was being used for diamonds and other items for proving its authenticity. And our soaps will be the first major FMCG good which will have this feature. Apart from that, we want to venture into, we want to portray our company as an eco-friendly and a green company. And that's the reason we will be giving it with eco-friendly labels and a plantable packaging. So the packaging will have a seed in it. So when the user throws it off, the packaging, it can be planted and it will grow into a tree. We also create a web page to basically recommend the kind of variant based on the questionnaire that the customer will answer. And this web page will be accessible via QR codes at different ad locations. Now let's get into the crux of it and the funding of it. Sambhav, take it.
Thank you so much, Sankalp. So now coming to the financials. So basically, we have a few assumptions to make based on the data that was being provided in the case study. But I'll go through the different kinds of assumptions as we go through the slides. Now coming to the 5-year business development plan that we have developed. So as we can see, there is a proper PBT that we can achieve. The deliverable that was being given to us, that the PBT percentage of 10% should be achieved in the 3rd year and 20% in the 5th year. We have been able to achieve that through our financials. The one thing that I would like to notice, I would like to highlight is that the depreciation cost that is being mentioned. Since in the first year we have been giving that we have a capex cost of 35 crores to set up a plant, we'll be depreciating this cost at 20% per annum. So that at the end of 5 years, the whole cost is being depreciated. So that is being, this is one of the assumptions. Secondly, it is being mentioned in the case study that in the advertising, you need to spend 10% of the SOV to gain market share, to have an increase in market share. So that advertising cost needs to be kept at a constant of 10%. So we are keeping it at a constant. Also, the retail channels distribution, we are using 3 types of retail channels. First is the normal retailers. Second is the modern trade like Big Basket and Big Bazaar. Third is the online retail like Amazon or Flipkart. We can sell our soaps on that as well. It's being mentioned in the case study that there is a 0.7% of the sales happen through online marketing. But the thing is that it's growing rapidly, and it's going to grow very much in the coming years. So we are considering that as well in our financials. Also, one more thing is that, please go to the next slide. Yeah. So now coming to the production. In the production part, we have assumed a 5% buffer in our first year. So basically, since we don't have we haven't sold any kind of soaps at the moment, and we are a new entrant. So we would want to have a sufficient amount of buffer, and being a little bit optimistic we are keeping a 5% buffer so that if we have any good demand, we have an excess demand, we are able to achieve that. Over the years, our buffer would decrease from 5% to 1% in the 5th year, since our marketing people and our sales forecasting will improve, and it will help us to reduce the inventory cost that will come with the buffer. Also, the fixed costs are decided based on the production. So the fixed cost for running the what you call the factory is been increasing based on the production. So if it crosses the threshold of 500 tons per month, that is 6,000 tons per year, the fixed cost also increase. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. So coming to the outlets acquired. So the thing is that we are assuming that in the first year, every outlet, every day, we'll be selling around 2 soaps. So this is a pessimistic assumption because it's a new market and we are coming up with innovative features. It will be higher than this, but we are going through most likely outcome that we can have for 2 soaps, and it will increase 10%. After that, as the outlets increase, as the soaps sold increase, the outlets also increase. Since our production is increasing, our sales are increasing very rapidly. So to match that, our outlets will also increase from 41,000 in the first year to around 89,000 in the 5th year. The class split depends on the fact that we are mostly aiming towards middle class and upper middle class sector. So the class B type outlets are being in the premium, and they are in the maximum 50%, because those will cater to the tier 1 and tier 2 city people. Now going to the next slide. The distribution cost. It's being mentioned in the case study that the cost of manpower and infrastructure is to be taken per month, but we have taken it for the year. And as we can see that all the major chunk of the distribution cost depends on the total manpower and infrastructure cost that is being there. The cost of acquiring the outlets is pretty less compared to manpower and infrastructure cost. Also, getting to the cash flows, we are maintaining a good amount of positive cash flow for the company so as to have a good amount of liquidity and to counter any kind of volatility that comes in the market. So based on that, we have used sufficient amount of cash flows to cater to that. Also, now next slide. Coming to the revenue part. So the revenue totally depends on the market share that we acquire. So it's been mentioned in the case study that if we invest 10% of the SOV, we in the popular segment, we'll achieve 2.2% in the first year, and subsequently it will grow to 7% if we keep our investments at a constant. Since we are keeping our investments at a constant, so that will grow from 2.2% to 7%. And one more thing I would like to address, which was the main deliverable, which geography would like to focus to, and that would be north and south, which is based on the fact that we had checked a lot of combinations. We had seen that if we use different geographies individually and then we combine them, suppose we have north and south, north and west, we found that north and south was more financially feasible, and also the fact that our product mix.
Team, time is up. Can you finish soon?
Yeah, I'll finish it just in 1 minute. Yeah. So our product mix is also catering to north and south people. Our south people are usually using sandal soaps. So we have that product mix to cater to north and south population. This is the payment schedule that we have created based on the fact that we'll only require 80 crores of loan in the first year in addition to the 100 crores that is being provided by the company as part of their cash surplus. Now the next slide. Now this is the final slide that we have. So in the first year, since it's a moratorium period, we don't have any kind of interest cost on the loan that we take. But in the second year, the interest cost is pretty high, and as a result, the operating profits and the gap between operating profits and PBT is very high. As the time goes on, the interest goes down, and the gap between both these things reduces. Also, for the fact that from first year when we have a PBT of minus 39%, we are able to achieve a PBT of 32% in the fifth year. Next slide. So yeah, thank you. And we have the financial model ready. If you want, we can refer to that as well. Thank you so much. And we have take the questions.
Excellent presentation, Lahari, Sai, and Sambhav. It's good to have that entire analysis. Probably little more details than what is needed for the jury, and probably this running of the time you would have saved had it been you would have avoided the initial slides of explaining the case. I'm sure this case is being presented to the board. Board is already aware what it is. It is not the academic case, but it is a business case which you are doing it, and that could have saved a lot of your time, and appreciate the way you created Portal. But for me, in the initial few minutes, it was looking like entire marketing plan is around, and rather than the business plan. But later, when Sambhav gave the financials, I do feel it was it has come out very well. And a few questions to ask is there is in the case study there was a task given to you. You are supposed to be part of those 7 bullet points around. Your presentation is around there. I can make out some parts, but some parts are missing. Can you tell me what are those missing links you could feel now? But it is a fantastic presentation. Don't feel agitated on it. But there is something is missing. I mean, of those 7 things, it is a straight task. You could have gone for those 7 with this kind of analysis. You could have answered all the 7 so it would have been done.
So I think the sales infrastructure part maybe and the marketing spends maybe that we didn't highlight it that much. Is that the question?
Yeah, you're right. And broadly you covered on the other stuff, sales infrastructure. To some extent in the financials you did cover, but it was not in detail. It could have been a straight around answer around that. But even other part of it, I was just looking at, we have created the 4 variants, and these variants, how I can categorize whether it is a premium, others, if it is a premium, then methodology you adapted may not be matching because the advertisement, etc., what you are looking at, the theme which you have created. If it is a popular, then how the economics can work, and what kind of geographies you are looking at, and which geography you are positioning to start with. Any idea? You have a discussion around?
Yes, sir. So we did answer, I guess. But so we'll be focusing on North and South together. And the segment that we're targeting is popular. And the whole financial model is built around that, assuming a popular soap. And apart from that...
I'll explain. So basically, sir, in the North and South region, we are targeting based on the fact that we have taken individual segments first, individual regions first, and then we have calculated the financials that will happen in that area. So for South we have taken separately, for West we have taken separately, then we have taken a combination of those. And we found out that most feasible would be to cater to North and South together. And also the fact that our product mix will be able to cater to the population that is there in North and South region. North people generally very much prefer aloe vera kind of soaps, and South people prefer sandal soaps. So we have that kind of product mix that will be able to cater to both North and South. And in the initial 5 years, we are not expanding that, since North and South holds the major chunk of the by volume and by the value both. So we are trying to first get a hold of the market in the first 5 years, and then we can look to other regions as well, maybe in the west side as well.
Yeah, thanks Sambhav for that. But when you said aloe vera and sandalwood, then you have other 2 variants whom you will sell now. you had your carbon as well as you had your tulsi, where
Yeah.
that will go. And don't need to answer, just I'm putting on the lighter side. And but there is one question which comes to you is like, on the methodology of the model you adapted to manufacturing model is melting noodles, you said. And like, the best way, and you said volumes are going to increase, then that's way this can work out with the starting capex low and later it can go well. But it is other way around. If you can go in detail, I mean, in the initially, yes, you are right, but later point is the volumes are high, your saponification can go much better, and that may have an advantage with you the working on it. This is just a comment on that, but I appreciate the way you put on the ESG framework, and how the green thing happen and how it can be utilized. A lot of things and gone on very out of box thinking. It's and some of those trends, challenges were well presented, and the capex and volumes were looking at very good. I love the customer journey you spoke about is reasonably. It's a lot of things which are out of the case, but it has been well covered. All the good luck to you, and over to my other co-panelist, Mr. Deepak Jain, to start with, and all the good luck to three of you.
Thank you, sir.
A very well presented case and very thorough analysis. So Rao sir has left very little questions to be asked in that, but still one thing which I wanted to know, why in the distribution channels, when you were saying the presence, you left out the Kirana stores, right? So how do you get volumes without Kirana stores? That's something which I'm not able to understand.
So, sir, we haven't left out them completely. So the thing is that modern trade and e-commerce, apart from that, they'll be focusing mostly on grade B, but there's a ABC split that Sambhav discussed. So those are actually Kirana stores in different categories based on the size. So we are focusing on it, but the split is a bit diffuse. So we're focusing more on the medium-sized Kirana stores and less on the A and the C side, considering our product is in the popular segment.
Okay, fair enough. Wish you.
Okay. Okay, so I think as the other two panelists said, good presentation, good analysis, good thought, and quite a bit of thorough analysis. But I think some of the things when you're doing, you have to reconfirm, your strategy with your execution. So you're saying something in strategy, but then you're going into a bit execution time. It is not matching up few of the things. I'll just point out, not a big issue to worry about, but then few things that would actually make your thing robust. Otherwise, there'll still be question marks on the plan whether it is going to work or not. So, for instance, you said you'll grow from 41,000 outlets to 89,000 outlets over 5 years. Now, 41,000 outlets is such a small number that you're not going to actually. So the way to do it is, see, again, what you did was you presumed 2 soaps per outlet per day. And you thought that was conservative. It is not conservative. It's actually very aggressive when you begin in the way. So if you really look at it, 41,000 on a 6 million outlet base, which is the base of outlets in India which carry soap. So that is very, very low. So when you look at that, so you really need to be in the cream of the outlets. So again, what you did, you said we're going to be on the B class outlet, not A and C, because we're a premium. But then the number of soaps that sell out of those outlets are much lower. So if 41%, if you want to get 2% market share in the first year, then you will have to have at least 4% distribution share, even more, actually 6 to 8% distribution share, because you are in the green segment and aloe vera segment and Ayurvedic segment. That segment itself is just about 10-15% of the total market, 20%. So you are going to fight in that 15-20%, but you are taking the share of the whole market. So if you have to, actually cover that much market and get that much of share, then you will have to multiply your outlet base into so many times. So actually, you will have to be much higher number of outlets, and therefore your cost of distribution will go up. And that's when you will realize that I don't want to be in North and South. I only want to be in South, because then your concentration will help. You don't spend 2 crores in 2.5 crores again on a new region. where you're going to establish your distribution and in one place. And that also will help you knowing that one of the worst things that you can ever do, and if you're a marketer, please remember, the worst thing you can ever do is choose a north and south. You know why? There is absolute language divide between north and south. So your communication, what you make and the style that you make for north does not work in south. Media channels do not work between the two. You take a national channel, you will reach north, you will reach west, you will also reach past part of the east. You will not reach south at all. So you have to have a separate media strategy for south and a very separate and individual independent media strategy for the north. So you are doubling your costs. There is no synergy and there's no cost. And the entire, and if you look at it, north does not have any good regional channels. North, if you want to advertise in north, you have to go on national channels. So there's a huge cost on national channels, and you'll be wasting your reach in west and south, west and east. Your entire reach on west and east is going to get wasted, right? So, but in south, if you stick to south with the kind of money that you have put in, which is I think 58 crores is what you put into advertising, right?
Yes.
With 58 crores, you can gain major share in south, right? So that would be pretty high, because south I think is 500 crores or something is the advertising budget for south. So you will have a 10% plus SOV. So you'll get much better volume from there itself with much lesser cost. So these are some of the things you need to, when you make it, just cross-reference, cross-check a few times to see that it matches, your plan is robust. When you look at it from left, right, up, down, it should still be robust. It should match always. But very good effort and good analysis. Good. I really like the way you all approached the case and went into the details. Thank you, team. Nice presentation.
Thank you, sir. So just a thing that we would like to highlight: we are not getting 2% market share of the whole market share in the first year. We are getting 2% market share at the end of 5 years. So first we are only selecting popular segment first, and that has a SOP of 2.2%, and then we are only focusing on north and south. So subsequently it gets divided. So at the end of 5 years, we'll be getting a market share of around 2.4%.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I was just talking about 2%, not the first year, but whatever it is, the same thing. When you only focus on south, you'll get much higher because the per rupee gain is highest in the south. If you look at it, per rupee gain of share is highest in the south, and that in premium segment. That too in premium segment. So fine, you've chosen a popular, but still south is better. South is what will give you the maximum return, and in one region you'll have a much more focused and concentrated effort. And also qualitatively, south is the largest herbal market. Rexona, then Hamam, Medimix. These three are leading players in the south.
Yes, sir.
So that's another just qualitative feedback. Okay, thanks. Good show.
All the best.
Thank you, team. Thank you for participating.
Thanks.
Thank you, Team 3. We will now have another special educational AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Inflation, your savings' biggest enemy. And here's how to beat it. Meet Sharma ji. He loves his morning walks and never forgets to drink his favorite masala chai at the street corner. He's been drinking chai at the same chaiwala since 1980. No wonder he proudly regales stories of how the tea was sold at just ₹2 when he first started drinking tea at the shop. Of course, how over the years the price of chai has risen and the cup has shrunk, thanks to inflation. So, what is inflation? Inflation, in simple words, refers to the rise in the price of product and services over time. It affects every aspect of life: food, clothing, education, homes, travel, healthcare, gadgets, etc. For instance, if your monthly expense for groceries, maintenance bills and leisure is about ₹30,000 in 2020, it won't be enough to meet the expenses 5 years from now. So, if we assume a 7% rate of inflation, you will need about Rs 42,000 in 2025, Rs 59,000 in 2030 and Rs 1,16,000 in 2040. But before you brush this aside with the simple logic that prices tend to rise over time, consider this. Is your income increasing at the same rate, if not faster? Yes? No? Sometimes? If your answer is a no or sometimes, then unlike Sharmaji, you won't be able to indulge in your favorites the same way. You will soon be faced with serious questions. What will I have to give up to prevent going into debt? How will rising costs change my lifestyle? And if these issues occur while you still have a job, can you even imagine the struggle after you retire, especially if you rely solely on what you save? Inflation can be your savings' biggest enemy, but it doesn't need to. Be like Sharmaji, who managed inflation by choosing investment solutions that potentially offered higher returns. He wasn't a financial wizard. He didn't do any investment mumbo-jumbo. All it took was a little planning and some discipline. He invested a small amount every month throughout his career in investment options that returned more than the rate of inflation. Some SIPs in mutual fund schemes, asset allocation moves, and voila! You, like Sharmaji, can enjoy your chai throughout your life. You may consult your investment advisor to make sure your investments grow faster than the rate of inflation. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully. Importance of budgeting. Know your income and expenses. We all have goals. Some of us want to travel the world, or buy a car or a dream home. What if we told you that you can aim to achieve your goals with a simple technique? Budgeting can help you achieve these goals. When you budget, you pay attention to how you spend your income, how much you need to run your home, how much you splurge on non-necessities such as in restaurants, coffees, gadgets, movies, etc., and how much of your income remains unspent at the end of the month. You gain a clear picture of your financial situation. Budgeting has 3 benefits. The first, it will help you track and monitor your debts. You know who you have to pay, how much you have to pay, and for how long. This way, you won't incur penalties for missed payments. The second, it will encourage financial evaluation. Do you spend too much money eating out? Do you splurge too much on gadgets? Do you read or watch all the newspapers, magazines, and channels you subscribe to? Such an evaluation will help you trim the excess activities, products, and services that you subscribe to but not necessarily use enough. The third, it will help you determine where you can save and invest a little extra to meet your financial goals, such as pay off a loan quicker, go on vacation, or purchase your dream home. Wondering how to budget and where to begin? You start with the simple process of listing down all of your sources of monthly income: salary, freelance work, rent from home or shop. Next, list your monthly expenses: electricity bills, phone bills, rent, fuel, groceries, clothing, leisure, EMIs, maids, etc. Don't forget to include occasional expenses such as car servicing, etc. Tally the 2 numbers. If your income is less than your expenses, you need to start identifying the problematic areas. Trim off the excess and set yourself onto the path towards good financial health. If your income is more than your expenses, congratulations! You can still do a thorough scanning to trim your excess and continue your journey of good financial health by moving the excess money to an emergency fund or investing it. Doing this will prevent you from using this money to make impulse purchases. Remember, no matter what the goal, if you can budget for it, you can achieve it.
an investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Thank you all once again for those presentations. I know for sure you don't want to be kept waiting. The moment all of us have been waiting for is finally here. We will now have the comments on the team presentations, followed by the announcement of the winner for today's round.
As usual, I mean, a lot of work, and the teams have put in a lot of analysis and work. But as would happen, there's both spectrum is there. I mean, some of the teams completely missed the analytical part or the real gist of what was required from the case. And there, of course, a team which went bang on and cracked the case. So good experience, good efforts, and as we're seeing more and more teams, we do find a variety of different ways of skinning the same cat, which is also a good thing to have. So good experience, and overall a very, very good experience to be sitting here and in the panel and judging the cases. Thank you.
So it was a very good experience for me also, and from yesterday, I have been hearing the same case being analyzed by different teams and different point of views. And one thing I liked is that all of them are very enthusiastic of what they are doing, right? So you might miss the technical part of it, but the enthusiasm part is very great. And they all wanted to crack the case, right? So you might miss sometimes the data points and other points and go beyond the case. But yeah, everybody wants to do that. That's very much. So kudos to all of you that you could assemble a team or teams which are so enthusiastic about cracking cases and doing this. And maybe even if somebody misses it this time, this learning experience would hold them very good in future part of their life. And when they actually have to take decisions, it will help them do that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
First of all, my sincere thanks to Vinay and team in the business line for having me here as a jury. And every round, every city, it gives me a different kind of experience. And it's as rightly put it, lot of enthusiasm from the students. And sometimes it looks like whether college is coming to the boardroom or boardroom is going to the college. It's the way it looks at. And each of these teams coming with a very, very different perspective. The case remains the same, but the observation comes in a multiple perspectives. Yeah, sometimes they would have missed what is the solution, but all that they made an attempt and they have done fabulous. I think it's a great learning experience for them, learning curve. It is doesn't matter who is going to win, but their participation itself is a great winning. And of course, case coming from Vishy sir is not that easy to crack for anyone. And somebody who cracked it definitely need to be complimented and congratulated. And today, that is where we could see that medal in the team 3, and team 3 is the winner. And the team 3 comes from SPJIMR, and I congratulate all the participants of the day, but special congratulations to the team 3 who made it happen and who did fabulously well, and they're definitely outscored others, and wishing them all the success. Thank you so much.
May I once again invite Mr. Vinay Kamath, Senior Associate Editor at the Hindu Business Line, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you all for watching this semi-final round of the Business Line on Campus Boardroom Challenge. We wish to thank our presenting sponsor, Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. This event was powered by Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Limited in association with Punjab National Bank. The knowledge partners for the event were Brand Vectors and Potential Genesis. Thank you all for watching. Good day.
All of us have distinctive dreams in life. Even in a family, there are some common goals, like family vacation or house purchase, but there are some individual goals, like father aspiring to upgrade the car, mom dreaming of an early retirement, or the children dreaming to study in a world-class university or to expand the family business. Some goals need big funding, while some are easily manageable. Some are 2 decades away. Some need to be fulfilled in a couple of years, while some reoccur every year. If each goal has such a unique requirement, then shouldn't investment for each goal be separate and unique? When you start multiple systematic investment plans or SIPs for individual goals, it becomes easy to keep a track of each investment. You build a well-diversified portfolio of various assets. You can achieve goals in a systematic manner without compromising on other dreams. It's wonderful, isn't it? So start multiple SIPs and aim to fulfill your various financial goals easily. Win with SIP, an investor education and awareness initiative by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
हमारा बैंक वहां।
Thank you everyone, and I hope you had a great session. I would like to thank our sponsors. Presenting sponsors Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, powered by Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages in association with Punjab National Bank, and knowledge partners Brand Vector, and Potential Genesis. Have a good day and make sure you tune into other regional semifinals of BLOC Boardroom Challenge. I am Srimati Sridharan signing off.